Hello, this is Dr. Patrick Porter, and I want to welcome you to the class today, Quantum Superlearning Advantage. You're here because of a couple of reasons. One, you just joined Quantum University, and you want to learn more about how the Quantum Superlearning Advantage works and the equipment that's part of it. Or you're considering becoming a student at Quantum University, and you want to learn more about how Quantum University uses cutting-edge technology to help you to learn and advance your career. So my name is Dr. Patrick Porter, and I'm going to be your guide today in this course to explain about light, sound, and vibration and how it works to accelerate your brain to the next level and hopefully motivate you to incorporate this into your practice once you have your degree from Quantum University. So what is Quantum Superlearning Advantage? First of all, what it is, it's a way to take your learning to the next level. We learn on 4 different levels, and these different levels are going to help you to learn just how to take information from the conscious level and deposit it into the subconscious. And then the subconscious feeds that back to you. So with this learning that happens, we need to get our brain into the right brainwave state. So when you learn consciously, and we also want you to learn subconsciously. So what the Quantum Superlearning Advantage is going to do, it's going to train you to use more of your brain and those brainwaves you had as a child. More specifically, you're going to learn to incorporate the theta brainwave, which is a level of the mind that is superlearning states. So one of the things we have to do in learning, especially if you're an adult learner out there, is we need to get you to bypass any critical thinking you have about learning. When we were younger and we were learning things fresh and new, we didn't know what we didn't know. So we could go into something full speed ahead, learn it, absorb it. When you learned your first language, unless you speak 2 languages, when you learn that first language, what happens is that circuit in the brain stays active only till about the age of 6 or 7. Then that brain circuit shuts down. That's also true with other brain circuits. So with the Quantum Superlearning Advantage, you put the equipment on, and I'm going to explain this all to you. You start to awaken your brain's potential, and you start to eliminate any negative beliefs or any convictions you might have about your learning. Regardless of what you were told, as an adult learner, you are in a perfectly positioned place to accelerate your learning and do better than you ever did in school before. So the other thing it does is we have these 2 hemispheres in our head. We're going to talk a little bit about them. I go into more detail in my classes at Quantum University. But when we talk about this right brain and this left brain, the reality is for super learning to occur, we need to take what's happening in the world around us, deposit it into our subconscious, then let it play back for us upon awakening. Because learning applied is power. Learning itself isn't that powerful. We all have access to the internet. We could beat anyone if we were to journey back through time to the 1960s and play any Trivial Pursuit game because you could just use the internet if it was available to you through some kind of quantum computing. The reality is we have access to all that knowledge, but if that knowledge isn't applied, it's not really powerful for us. So what we want to do is help you to apply this knowledge you're learning at Quantum University, and we do that through whole brain thinking. Now, the biggest thing here is when Dr. Paul and I got together, we said, what is this Quantum Superlearning Advantage that we're going to use? He said, I want this learning process at Quantum University to be easy, cutting edge, different than what's out there at other universities. So Quantum University was the first university that started to apply this subconscious processing along with conscious learning. So you can learn on both levels and then retain that knowledge and make it powerful in your life. When we think about stress, the first thing is any learning that you go through, whatever you're doing in life, all stress is brain stress. And what I mean by that is this stress is one of the most pervasive maladies of our time. It's called the silent killer. So when you think about it, one of the things you're going to quote, if you aren't already doing so, is 95% of all illness is related to stress. So we want to take the stress out of learning and help you to accelerate your learning by using this 100 billion neural bit processor called your brain to help you to learn, retain, and benefit from the knowledge here at Quantum University. So the stress that you're feeling from learning might not be felt as stress at all, but it could cause you to have pains in your back, your knee, your elbow, even have getting headaches because stress goes to the weakest point in your system. So we want to strengthen the whole system. One of the things we know within the Quantum Superlearning Advantage using the brain tapping system is that we're going to strengthen the nervous system. When I talk about brain stress, I'm talking about all three brains. So we talk about the one brain, which is our electrical brain. That's the brain in our head that we can measure with the EEG, and we can see how it goes through the different brainwave states. We also have the brain in our gut. The gut brain actually makes 90% of the neurotransmitters that your brain tells it to do it. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later in the presentation. But then we also have our third brain, which most people don't even talk about. It's your nervous system. So we need to calm down the nervous system, get rid of excess stress, and open your body and mind, this electrical and magnetic brain, to start to work with your body as a whole, as the nervous system, and get these three working together. Some people will call it the triad of health when we talk about thoughts, traumas, and toxins. Well, all of these also trigger into these three different brainwave states. So with this quantum superlearning advantage, we're going to put them all together, synchronize them, and show how when they're working together, when the heart and the brain are connected. Your heart has over 40,000 different neural cells in it. Your heart acts like a brain, but it's magnetic in nature. It can broadcast a field around you of 18 feet. The brain is low energy, really, because we have to use these special probes to get these EEG electrical system. But the nervous system is lightning fast. It's responding to this electrical and magnetic information, and it's causing our body to respond to our environment through something called the reticular activating system. So what we need to do is we need to calm down this reticular activating system. We all have primitive reflexes, and some of us, unfortunately, didn't have the proper training growing up, so our brains are not responding to our environmental stresses in the same way. So learning could be a trigger for stress. We want to eliminate that with the quantum superlearning advantage and have you learning at an accelerated rate. Now, what is brain tapping? I'm going to show you this video that we have online, and you can watch more videos about brain tap if you go to YouTube and just put in #BrainTap. But watch the video, it's going to explain it to you. BrainTap is a tool used to get you out of that fight or flight, highly stressed mode. And we use light and sound to do that. Lights in the ears to calm the nervous system, and lights in the eyes to help you to stay relaxed with the sounds that are coming through the earphones. So your eyes are closed, there's a pattern of light and sound that's guiding you from a wide awake, alert, conscious state called beta into a dreamy, drowsy, relaxed state of alpha and theta, while keeping you from falling into deep sleep, delta sleep. Now, through that process, you're going to find it's enjoyable, and there's also going to be words. These words are using something they call epigenetics. Epigenetics says that 98% of what's causing you to function is not in your genes, but it's in your surroundings, the books you read, the people you hang out with, the thoughts that you think. With that in mind, we're going to retrain the brain to think and act in a more relaxed manner. That's what the BrainTap does. The number one benefit of BrainTap is it causes you to relax, so it eliminates stress. It's going to increase a lot of neurochemicals in the brain, like serotonin, norepinephrine. It's going to help you to feel good, relax, and accomplish more. Now, we use the BrainTap in many different areas. In fact, we have 43 different models that we use the BrainTap for. The main ones, of course, are stress reduction, helping people with sleeping problems, overcoming a smoking addiction or any addiction for that matter, as well as weight loss. So whatever your doctor has had you to do, we have a program which supports that using the light and sound technology and the BrainTap headset. All you need to do is relax, let the process happen, and you'll awaken, refreshed, revitalized, and with a new sense of purpose to accomplish your personal goals. While wearing the BrainTap headset, you're going to feel perhaps a little warmth in the ears because the ear lights are actually freeing up the meridian points in the ears. You're going to hear a message that's going to guide you from being wide awake into a state like sleep. With your eyes comfortably closed, there's going to be blue pulsating light. Now that light and sound is going to guide you into a state of deep relaxation. Some people feel a lightness, others a heaviness, and others feel a tingling sensation. But as you learn to relax with the process, you'll learn to let go and discover your own relaxation response. You don't have to worry if you relax too much because at the end of every BrainTap session, it's going to guide you back to wide awake alert consciousness. So all you need to do is let it happen. That word let means in no way help or hinder the process. Just put the headset on and let yourself go. Your body and mind will synchronize with the ideas and concepts and then bring to pass as reality those positive results that you want in your life. So now that you know a little bit about what the BrainTap does, I'm going to take it just a little bit deeper now. We're actually changing neuroplasticity. Now, how do we know that? We've done study after study of how the BrainTap works. Now, with a piece of technology called the New Mind technology, we can do mapping of the brain, and it actually records the neuroplasticity changes, which means the changes and the way the brain wires and fires from beginning to end. One study that we did with a 60-year-old, we took and we started doing BrainTap 3 times a week with them, and they started doing it at home using the headphones only. And we found that we got a 63% neuroplasticity change. So while you're listening to the BrainTap, there's a lot of neurological activity going on. So what's allowing this to happen is the neurons in the brain compensate for injury and disease. So don't worry if you don't think your brain's quite up to the task. We're going to teach the brain to wire and fire around the new ideas and concepts you're learning here at Quantum University. It's going to take place because of the axon sprouting that happens. Any undamaged axons grow new nerve endings, and they're going to help you to learn and experience. Now, each of those light ups you see here in the screen, those light ups, that when that neuron's happening, that connection right there, even though it doesn't look like it on the surface, has more computing power in that little area than the most sophisticated computer on Earth at the time of this filming, which is 2019. So what's happening here is your brain, a 100 billion neural bit processor, has almost an infinite number of different connections, possibilities in other words. You live in a field of infinite possibilities. So let's open up those possibilities. Let's get the brain wiring and firing. Let's get the body and the mind synchronizing and get your life organized so you can not only complete the schooling, but then get out there and help the world one person at a time with your new quantum education. Now, how do we know this works? Because we've been featured in almost every major outlet out there. In fact, we were just on the front cover of Fortune magazine in the lifestyle section because people in 2019 are realizing we're stressed out. Now, this goes all the way back to 2006 when we were featured in People magazine. Rob Powell used nothing but the brain tapping technology to take off half his weight and keep it off. And he's still, if you go to my Facebook page or my LinkedIn page, you'll see Rob Powell there. He's still just as thin as you see him in this picture. He changed his brain and changed his life. You have the power with your quantum super learning advantage to do the same thing for yourself, for your career, for your relationships. Whatever you want to achieve, it first starts in the mind. And we might have to change these. So how does this happen? First of all, the science is called frequency following response, the science of FFR. Our body and mind, and we're going to talk more and more about this, but our body through the reticular activating system is always engaged in what's going on around us, and it's following the frequencies. We're going to get more into this at the end of the class today, but your body is always responding and synchronizing like a biofeedback machine with your environment. These neurosynthetic algorithms, the algorithms that we put into our brain tapping system, into the Quantum Super Learning Advantage program, these have all been tested on thousands of people. When I had my franchise company, we used to see over 20,000 people a week. So we've tested these algorithms out. We know how long it takes to take somebody from being wide awake and put them into a deep state near sleep where super learning is activated, that alpha theta brainwave. And magic happens there, folks. When you're crossing over that alpha frequency, 10 hertz frequency, it acts like a tuning fork and tunes up all other brainwave states. In fact, there's been a lot of information now about gamma in 2019, 2018. And what we found is that with this Quantum Super Learning Advantage tool, one session and you start to train the brain to incorporate 23% more gamma. What does that mean? When we measure the greatest healers on Earth, we find that they have more gamma brainwave than any other frequency. Most people are running around with 2 or 3% of their brain in gamma. You have a tool in your hands that can help you to activate and balance out those brain waves. So the Super Learning Advantage process helps you to speed up the imaging process, because what you're going to do when your eyes are open and you're getting the light frequencies that were shown, you're hearing the ears, you're putting your body into this alpha theta state, you create this Gaussian field, this field of energy that you're able to visualize into. You begin to picture in ways that you never pictured before. You begin to hear in ways you never heard before. You start to visualize. And through that visualization process, you begin to realize that whatever you place in your mind, you can manifest into the world around you through new behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs. So we talk about the quantum super learning advantage as the ultimate solution to our neurological epidemic. What you have here isn't just something for you. It's something for you to take with you with your education at Quantum University and start to apply it. Because as a Quantum University student, BrainTap, my company, automatically makes you a licensee, which means because you're a student at Quantum University and you're getting involved with us at the student level, you don't have to pay the $4,000 that our doctors had to pay. At the time of this recording, we have 1,900 clinics across America, and they've all pretty much paid us between $4,000 and $10,000 to have a licensing. Because you're a Quantum University student, you have that. You simply need to take the steps at the end of this video and log in as a Quantum University student, and we're going to lock you in, and then all you have to do is buy things at wholesale at that point. So I'm not here to sell you anything right now. I'm here to teach you and how to learn, but this technology helps with the fast-paced lifestyle that we have. Our digital world, we have to have a digital solution. Right now, we have a 24-hour email and text campaigns going all the time. We're tested all the time with what's going on in our world. There's all uptime and no downtime. People tell me all the time, I don't seem to have enough time. Well, you control time, believe it or not. In the brainwave state of beta, yeah, you don't have a lot of time because time is fast there. But when you slip into alpha and theta, you expand time. You get the feeling of deep relaxation. It's like going to the ocean or a mountaintop. You feel like time is just standing still. Well, we can experience those times. We call them island times. You don't have to be in Hawaii to experience island time, but those are the times that are going to rejuvenate and replenish your body from the inside out. We have to build our attention spans. Unfortunately, TV used to only have commercials 4 times during an hour show. Now we have commercials 8 times because the population of our planet, the attention span went from this big now to this big. So we need to learn to expand our focus, our concentration. The ability to continue to stay focused and have concentration has been equated to being able to solve problems. And problem solvers are the ones that rule the world. So let's talk about why people can't fix this on their own and why we created the Quantum Super Learning Advantage and the brain tapping system. First of all, this is your brain, of course. And when we talk about the frontal lobes, if it's been damaged or as we're triggering it with technology that we have with the brain tap, we're going to get you out of beta. But when you're in beta, you have a lot of dopamine going on. So that's why most of our addictions are addictions to the dopamine response. Like when you send out a text and you get that text response back, when you get that response back, you get that dopamine hit right away. Now, if they don't respond, you might get all upset and angry. Just like any other addict, you're wondering, hey, I want my hit of dopamine. So we need to mitigate that or manage that. And that's what the Quantum Super Learning Advantage does. It's going to help you to get out of that high beta and into a state where we can activate the parietal lobes, which is going to trigger acetylcholine. This is alpha. Now, if you never get into alpha, which means you never get into creative states, if you never relax, if you don't have a technology to do that, and we've measured so many people on our equipment that meditate, that do yoga, and their brains are totally whacked out because they haven't really trained their brain. They're so stressed out, but then they go do yoga, they do this, their mind chatter just keeps going. You're going to train your brain. You have in your possession right now the Quantum Super Learning Advantage that's going to trigger the parietal lobes, which is going to send a signal down to your gut that's going to tell your gut, produce acetylcholine. Now, acetylcholine has a lot to do with how the brain becomes creative, how you visualize, how you activate possibility thinking. So as you move across the alpha brainwave rhythm, it's going to help to heal and benefit you to just be in a comfortable place, relaxed, and let go. And then you're going to trigger the temporal lobes. Now, each of our sessions, remember the algorithm is going to guide you through these different programs, and then it's going to guide you back through them again. Most of our programs take you through these different brainwave states 3 to 4 times, depending upon how long the session is. Now, when we trigger the temporal lobes, you're going to create something called GABA. Now, right now in the news, in the medical world, they have all these GABAnoids because they know the biggest problem we have right now in the adult population in the United States is that we're missing theta. Now, if you don't produce theta brainwaves, you don't produce the neurotransmitter called GABA. So you can activate these. Now, when I'm talking about these neurotransmitters, the brain tells the gut to make them. 90% of your neurotransmitters are produced in your gut. But if you're not producing the brainwave, you're not producing the neurotransmitter, so you're going to be angry, upset, irritable, all the symptoms of being stressed out. And then if you're not sleeping well, if you've had a fall or concussion or something like that, and your occipital lobes are damaged, you're not going to get into delta, or you're going to have too much delta. The problem we see in the world, and I'm going to show you some slides at the very end of this class today, is that most people are running around in high delta because their body has a lot of inflammation. And they can't clear out this inflammation. And so they're not able to sleep well because all day long they're running around with high delta. Then when they go to sleep, it triggers the high beta because now the body's rested. Now their mind can think and problem solve. We need to train the body to wake up in the morning. That's why with your programs, you have AM programs, which kickstart the body in the morning, like digital coffee, get the body going. And then we have PM sessions, which act like quaaludes, if you will. Digital quaaludes are going to shut down the body. And in the middle of the day, we have sessions that are actually going to help you to reboot, refocus, and rejuvenate your life. You know, there's a reason that a lot of cultures out there take naps in the middle of the day. But when you take your nap with your Quantum SuperLearning Advantage, your brain tapping system, you're going to naturally influence your body to reboot. It'll be almost like you get a free day. So take that 10, 20, or 30 minutes in the middle of the day to reboot your brain. If you don't, then you're not going to produce these neurotransmitters. Or if you are producing them, you're a very small minority of the population. So let's talk a little bit about sleep, because one of the things we need to do to really create proper health, accelerate your health and your potential, is to get you sleeping better. So if you don't sleep well, you're not detoxing the brain. This causes symptoms, personality changes, memory losses, the inability to focus. You might even have physical tics, seizures, and depression. So this all happens because you're not sleeping, because the body is actually designed to detox the brain only during deep level 4 sleep, what we call deep delta sleep. And this was documented in Scientific America in 2016 on page 45, if you want to look it up. They talked about how now the medical community has agreed that there are lymphatic vessels in the brain. Now, anatomy tells us there's a lymphatic vessel next to any blood vessel because the lymphatic system is like the garbage man of the system. But this internal plumbing system only works when you reach deep level sleep. Now, how do you know this cleaning ritual is happening? And some of you watching this video have probably experienced this. You woke up and you had sleep paralysis. You couldn't move your body. You're like, oh, wow, what's happening? And what happened was you woke up in the middle of a cleaning cycle. That happens 4 to 6 times during the night. If you're really sleeping well, it's going to happen 6 times. You're going to go through these cycles. You're going to go from the alpha, theta, delta, delta, theta, alpha. You're going to go through this cycle while you sleep. That's the natural cycle, and your body is collecting. Think of it like a bank account. You're filling your bank account with neurotransmitters so that in the next day, you have all the neurotransmitters to get the brain working the way it was intended. And you're cleaning out and detoxing the body, because during those times of sleep paralysis, your body is like flushing the system. So if you don't reach level 4 sleep, you don't flush the system, your body becomes toxic, and you get something like what they say about the gut, which is called leaky gut. You get leaky brain. So we need to help you to detox your brain. So with your Quantum SuperLearning Advantage, you're going to have a natural side benefit. 90% of the people using the BrainTap system report back to us that they're sleeping better than they ever have before. Now, what is the Quantum SuperLearning Advantage as well? What are the different components? First of all, We have the epigenetics, the words. Dr. Bruce Lipton, one of our Quantum University professors, says that we can influence 2,300 different gene expressions by the words we listen to and use in our life. So we can change the way our body responds to stress by visualizing and affirming that those changes are taking place. We're going to use binaural beats, and I'm going to explain each of these separately. We're going to use these beats to balance out the brain chemistry and get you into the proper state for learning. Because not everyone hears perfectly, you might not hear perfectly from right to left here, we're going to use something called isochronic tones. These are mono. Binaural beats are stereo. Then we're going to use our neuroacoustic harmonics, which means there's a frequency embedded into the system. So when the ear lights are on, there's actually a 194 hertz frequency that's instructing the nervous system, hey, turn off sympathetic overload. Turn off your primitive brain that's in stress mode, survival mode, and turn on your rest and recovery, your parasympathetic system, that's going to help you to recover and build the healthy body that you desire. And then we're going to do the light therapy in the ears. Now, when the lights are in the ears, we're going to spend some time talking about that, but we're going to clear out the meridians, which in turn run energy through the whole body. Those of you who are acupuncturists know exactly what I'm talking about. When all that happens, it's a stressful event for the body, but the body moves into a higher level of thinking. It's called the relaxation response. So during that relaxation response, you can go to that state for pleasure, for achievement, for learning. All of these things work together to create the harmonics that are going to create the positive change that you want in your life. And you're going to be using this with your learning experience at Quantum University. And together, it's a 1-2 punch that's going to help you to reboot your brain. Maybe you're working during the day and you're doing your learning at night. You can come home from work, put the BrainTap system on, reboot your brain. Now you're fresh, you're alert. You can watch the videos, read the text, go through the course material, write your dissertation, whatever it is that you're meaning to do, now with the energy you were designed to do it, because we live in an energy economy. And one of the things we know that the light therapy is triggering ATP production. Without ATP, we don't have energy in the body. Think of it as currency for the cells. We're going to discuss more about that in future here. So we talk about binaural beats. What are we talking about? When somebody's listening to a binaural beat, we could, if we wanted 10 hertz frequency, which is alpha, we could put a 295 hertz frequency in one ear, like we do here. We put a 305 hertz frequency in this ear. Now, our brain, even though we're sending a 305 hertz frequency here and a 295 hertz frequency here, it doesn't hear either of those. It cancels all the other information out and only hears the difference. And what happens to hear that difference, the brain, the right and left hemisphere of the brain across the corpus callosum, has to organize itself. And through this reorganizing process, it balances the brain. Now, we're doing it at different frequencies, at different times, to stimulate different areas of the brain, but this is the basic principle of what's happening. We then, using the science of frequency following response, we're going to use what nature does best. We're going to have it respond to sounds in nature. That's what it does. And the way our brain works, when people say, why are you using lights? I'm going to get into that, but we hear literally with our ears. We also listen with our eyes. And science is proving that there is such a profound connection between our visual field and what we hear. So we're going to stimulate the visual senses while we're signaling auditory messages, so they work together to create the balanced hemisphere that we need. Now, we respond to these light sources. We respond to this in nature. We respond to our environment, which means if we walk into an environment, our reticular activating system's looking around going, is this a safe environment for me? Is it okay for me to relax and be comfortable, or should I be on the ready? Some people don't know how to relax. They could walk into a very relaxing space. In fact, some people, when they go on vacation, actually get headaches because they're so used to the stress that they hold in their body, they're not able to liberate it so they can actually enjoy their surroundings or their vacation time. Hopefully that's not you. And with the help of the Quantum SuperLearning Advantage, you're going to find that you can unlock that and enjoy your free time. So we want to make sure that your response to people, to events, to experiences, that you have a neutral stance. Because there's not only the fight or flight, but there's the freeze response. You know, if you've ever come up on a deer in nature, the deer doesn't think, am I going to flee or fight, the first thing it does, it freezes, right? That's why they have the saying, a deer in the headlights. So we have that same freeze response. We want to move from that freeze response like a Tai Chi master and we call it Tai Chi for the mind. We want to flow with new ideas, new concepts, and possibility thinking. At any moment in time, you have a quantum computer working within you. Let's get it restored and working at optimum states. We do this also by isochronic tones. Remember, if you don't hear perfectly, we're going to use these things. Now, where did isochronic tones come from? The planet itself is one big isochronic tone generator. If we were to go to the ocean and sit and listen to the waves, we'd be creating acetylcholine or alpha because the waves in the ocean are a frequency response generator of 10 hertz frequency. If we go to the mountaintops, then it's a theta frequency, 7.8 hertz frequency, or the Schumann frequency. Our planet is generating those tones all the time, and you don't have to wear earphones to do it. But also, primitive people like the shaman that I show here with the drum, if you've ever been to a drum circle and you find out maybe you have 30 people in the drum circle and you all start drumming, before too long, there's not 30 different people drumming. There's a unified sound and signal because synchronicity is the way of the universe. And harmony is the most powerful force. So through synchronicity and harmony, these two work together to instill a sense of pleasure in our body because our body likes things orderly. Our brain loves systematizing and organizing things. So the brain's listening and it's having literally a cortical response in the brain. Even when you don't hear it, your body and brain are hearing it. So we're going to do this through a series of numbered sequences. Now, you don't hear it. If you were to hear it, we do have sessions on our app that do have the sound so you can hear it. Most people don't like it. We don't have to have it that loud. It could be at a 25 hertz frequency below your hearing, and your brain will still respond to it. So we've actually had people hooked up in our labs, and we can train them through EEG to see how low can we go to still get a response in the body. So this creates a strong cortical response, which means the brain is responding as if you're in those natural places. So when we're taking you through alpha or into theta, we're imitating nature sounds that trigger the body to respond in a way that it thinks it's by the ocean, or it's on the mountaintop, or it's in the deep levels of sleep. So the body responds to these sounds because our body responds to light, sound, and vibration. That's what it does. All of our systems of the brain are designed to monitor our external environment for these cues and then address them internally as we represent them. So what we're doing is we're going to represent them as the relaxation response and guide the brain and body into that state so super learning can happen. Now, what about BrainTap in your quantum office? Right now, we're talking about it for you as a student, but eventually you're going to have patients, people, or clients that you're going to be working with. So wherever you are, you can do this in a way because clients love this. It's passive. Most of the time, clients will come into our office here, our clinic in New Bern, North Carolina, or any of our other 1,900 clinics around North America, and they come in, there's no effort whatsoever. And they can feel the benefits for hours. So whatever therapy you do, whether it's massage, neurofeedback, chiropractic, whatever you're doing, before they leave your office, you can have them do a BrainTap session. Rest, relax, rejuvenate. Get that change that you just did through your counseling or through your technical skills. Get the brain wiring and firing around that change so it lasts longer and you get better clinical results. Now, our practitioners love it because it's implemented by their staff. In most cases, it's implemented by the client themselves. And we have over 800 different sessions, and we have the protocols to share with you. And remember, as a Quantum University student, you're already grandfathered into our licensing program, so you don't have to pay for our licensing. You simply start applying it in your practice and start getting the benefits. And you can start doing that right now. If you're doing the Quantum University program and you're in private practice, you can start incorporating BrainTap right now. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about HRV. This is one of our BrainTap HRVs that we had developed in Russia by the people who own the patents on HRV. And what we asked them to do was, hey, create for us something that is graphic, that we can show our clients that actually represents what it is we're trying to do. So this is a pre and post session after a BrainTap session. You can tell up here, when they first sit down, they're in pretty good shape. This person has a 61, beats per minute. That's pretty good. But he was able to lower it down to 58. I'm going to blow these up so you can see them a little bit better. But this is a nice graphic. And if you come to the Quantum University events that we do in Hawaii, we are usually there with our HRV, and you can get a scan while you're there. Or if you're in an area, you can let us know here at BrainTap, and we might be able to send you to one of the offices near you, because we're all over the country in North America. Actually, we're in 40 countries. So you can get with us if you want to have one of these HRV scans, and we can tell you if we have a doctor in that location. When you think about the before and after, we can measure the coherency of the body. So when this person started, I showed you the big chart just blowing up different parts of that, what he saw. So when he came in, his biorhythm or coherence, his heart rate coherence was at 33%. That's not very good, although that's pretty good for people coming into our clinic. In fact, I'm amazed at how many people are below 25% coherency, which means their heart brain is not talking to their head brain, and so they're not coherent, they're not communicating. This signals that. After a 20-minute Quantum SuperLearning Advantage session, BrainTap session, they went from 33 to 96%. That's pretty significant. Most people will actually feel it. They'll have a visceral experience of, hey, what happened to all that stress? Well, the body doesn't need it anymore, so it got rid of it. Now, we can also measure the ATP production in the brain, which means your brain and the electrical signals of the brain can be measured through your heart. Remember, there's 40,000 different neuron connections in the heart which communicate to the brain. So your heart actually controls your brain, not the other way around. That's why people can be brain dead, but their body is still functioning, because the heart brain is still alive and their gut brain is still alive. But when we talk about how these work together, when this person that we scanned came in, they were at 40% energy across their corpus callosum, which means that's how much energy was flowing across the brain. Our brain works on energy. When you feed energy into the eyes and ears, you're literally putting light into the brain. And your brain needs that light because it triggers vasodilation, blood flow and circulation, nitric oxide is released, ATP production is turned on. ATP production is the currency for energy in the body. So what we did was, after that session, they're now operating at 88% efficiency. When someone's coming into our clinic, we do pre and post measurements with them. They stay with us until they're operating as their baseline. If their baseline is 40 right now, after therapies, they leave at 88%. That's not going to last forever. I don't care who you talk to. There is no therapy on earth that lasts forever with a one shot. It needs to be done over time, because the nervous system is going to always reset to its environment. At least every 72 hours, it's going to try to go back in time. Now, we know through proper nutrition, rest, relaxation, and different therapies, positive thinking, that we can increase that baseline, which means we can bring this 40% up to 88%. And we find this typically happens between 4 and 6 weeks. So most of our programs last between 3 and 6 months, maybe even more, because we have maintenance programs, because we need to train the brain to respond to its environment. It's not about just getting them out of pain or out of stress. It's about teaching them to evolve, to anticipate and move in their reality without the need for other things or other people, because the brain and body are working together to adapt, improvise, and overcome with its environment. Now, this is the brainwave. We can actually tell what brainwaves are present. So in this case, had high delta. This is very common for people coming in. They come in, they're stressed out. This is a stressed out brain over here with the spectrum of the brain activity. We can see that they have very little beta going on, which means their cognitive thinking is going to be way down. They're going to wonder why they forget things. Their alpha is very low. Their theta is actually kind of high for being awake. So after the session, we can see the 42% beta, 26% alpha. That is almost a perfect brainwave. You want to have about 45% beta, about 30% alpha, and then it kind of goes down from there. And they could increase their gamma a little bit, but this is very good after just one session on the BrainTap. Now, this is one thing we can measure, because there's two different ages here. We have the biological age, right? and we have the actual age, which means how's your biology responding to its environment. In his case, he came in pretty good. He was actually operating at a 57-year-old. His actual age is 62. But after doing the brain tapping session, he was able to bring his biological age, which means how's his nervous system's age? How is it functioning? He's functioning more like a 34-year-old. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather function like a 34-year-old than function like a 57-year-old. Dr. Wayne Dyer said it best. He said, never let an old person inhabit your body. So you can do something about that. Sure, you can take the best nutrition in the world, but if your body is still stressed out, that nutrition is going to be flushed down the toilet. Because as soon as you're stressed out, the nervous system shuts down the digestive process, sends the blood to the arms and legs because it thinks you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. So let's get control of the stress, relax, let digestion to happen as it was intended, and start using those good supplements you're taking, and start thinking positive, healthy thoughts, and we'll get this biological age to remain at around 34 years old, even when you're 62 or beyond. Now, this is the reason that when I showed you the picture of People magazine, how we were able to transfer him by losing half his weight and keeping it off for more than 5 years when that article was produced. If you look here, he has 120 metabolic units of energy available. After the session, he has 363 metabolic units of energy. Now, that's pretty good. Now, what the blue and red are signifying is this is energy in, energy out. His body's working pretty good here. You know, he had a good biological age too. So he's functioning, he's not overweight. An overweight person, this would be flipped. There would be maybe 75 units in, but only 60 units being burned, which means the body has to store that unused energy somewhere. It's going to choose to store it as fat in the system. So we want to teach the body to burn more efficiently. So in this case, he's bringing in 149 and burning 214, which means he's burning the stored energy that he produced. Remember, at night when he's going through the natural sleep cycles, or during a brain tapping session, he went through a natural sleep cycle. He produced the neurotransmitters he needed to use, because our body is meant to use up its resources during the day, replenish them at night while you sleep. So afterwards, he's got his metabolism really cranking, which means he's going to be healthy. So let's talk about the benefits of using the Quantum SuperLearning Advantage. First of all, you're going to have blood flow to the brain increasing, clearer thinking, better concentration, improved memory, and creativity. These are all things that are going to help you in your education here. Your serotonin levels are going to increase by 21%. This is because we're going to start regulating those neurotransmitters. You're going to get rid of 100% of the excess adrenaline in your system. This is the number one thing you can do for anti-aging. So if you're involved with Quantum University because you want to help people with the aging process, the best thing you can teach them is to get them onto the BrainTap program, start training their brain to eliminate the stress. And they don't have to learn anything. They just put it on, close their eyes. The process is done for them. We say meditation done for you. Your endorphin levels are going to increase by 25%. That's why many people will tell us, hey, what happened to the pain in my knee? What happened to the pain in my shoulder? I hope you're sitting down, because the reality is there's no pain in the shoulder, there's no pain in the knee. Pain only happens in the brain, and it only happens in a brainwave state known as beta. There is no pain outside of the beta brainwave. So when you teach the brain to minimize beta and increase alpha and gamma and theta, you're increasing those neurotransmitters and the endorphin levels that cause pain to dissipate, dissolve, and melt away. With the Quantum SuperLearning Advantage, your mind is filled with positive images and affirmations, and we know now, because of Dr. Bruce Lipton's work, that you're triggering and changing gene expression. When I interviewed Dr. Lipton on my podcast, he told me about a study they did where they took people who were in addiction therapy. Half the group, they didn't test at all. I mean, they tested them to see what their gene expression was, but they didn't give them any affirmations. The other, they gave them positive affirmations and had them listen to relaxing music. At the end of 30 days, they checked their gene expression again. The ones that they didn't do anything for didn't change at all. The ones that listened to relaxing music and affirmations, they had over 260 gene expressions change that had specifically to do with their addiction. So that meant they were changing their physiology by changing their psychology. So think about it. You have in your hands the Quantum SuperLearning Advantage, a way to change what needs to be changed, because innate intelligence of your body knows exactly what's best for you. You simply need to be relaxed and receptive to those transformations happening. The blueprint is already set. We just have to get out of the way of the master builder and let the work be done. So 20 minutes can be equivalent to 3 to 4 hours of natural sleep. So think about it. You come home from a busy day, you've got to do your homework, you got to watch a video, you got to take a test. What if you could just reboot your brain in 20 minutes and you feel rejuvenated, ready to go for the day or for the night, and ready to take on and do your work? That's what you have in your hands right now. So I'm going to give you a way in just a moment to click on a link for the website quantumsuperlearning.com, and you're going to get the free app, 30 days in the free app, and my free book. But you can also get it from the Apple Store, the Google Store, or the Kindle app. And if you choose to, you can sign up and give the app away for free to your patients or clients or family and friends so that they can start to learn and you can be a part of our program here in helping people. So let's talk about the summary of what the Quantum Superlearning Advantage is. First of all, it's backed by positive psychology. You will never hear a negative message on any of my recordings because the body responds best by positive intent and positive nature. In fact, even though one of the most lucrative professions right now is building prisons, it doesn't mean it's right. Negative conditioning has never worked and will never work. We use something called the Silva method. For those who've taken my training or will take my training, you'll hear more about that. My dad was one of the very first Silva instructors in America. So he taught me how to use my mind at a very early age. And he taught us something called the Silva method and using the Silva sound. We didn't have light at that time. This was back in the 60s and 70s. Dr. Paul Adams, who wrote the first book, New Directions in Self-Hypnosis, was my mentor. He's the person who started Positive Changes, my franchise company that I bought from him and took it on and then sold it in 2002. It has neurolinguistic programming, which I was trained by Richard Bandler and John Grinder and the Grinder brothers, the founders of NLP. So that's all buried into the Quantum Superlearning Advantage. How does your body respond linguistically and neurologically to the positive messages that we're talking about? It's the technology of the BrainTap system. That's part of it. Now remember, there is no silver bullets. Nothing is going to do it all for you, but you want to give yourself the best advantages. So what I always tell people is client success is the best yardstick. So if you're not getting results with your clients, it's probably because you're not using the best tools that are out there. I know in our 1,900 clinics that are out there at this time, and we add anywhere between 35 to 40 new clinics every month, they know how to get results because they're helping people physically, mentally, and emotionally through thoughts, traumas, and toxins. We can get rid of the toxins through nutritional supplementation. We can get rid of the trauma through whatever means are necessary, even allopathy. But the thoughts need to be dealt with. If you don't deal with the stress, you're not really creating the change that needs to be done. And positive affirmations aren't the answer because they need something that's going to train their brain automatically and unconsciously. You have it in your hands. It's the Quantum Superlearning Advantage, the brain tapping system. So when we find something, we're going to change it. For those of you who've been following me, I've been with Quantum University now for 12 years. You've seen our equipment change and improve over time. That's not going to stop because we're always out there researching, learning, developing, trying to figure out how can we make the world a better place one person at a time. And I'm really counting on you listening to this video to help me with that mission because you're going to see people I can never see. You're going to help people I can never help. You're listening because you're needed. And you're going through the Quantum University studies because you're going to get the specialized studies, the specialized training necessary to help those people that show up for you. Now, why the Superlearning Advantage? One thing is, I'll always like to tell you, you're not wrong or broken. The BrainTap's going to teach you a new way of thinking. We're not going to teach you what to think. We're going to teach you how to think. There's a big difference. You know what you need to do. BrainTap's going to provide you a way to take action and make those changes. And if you lack the motivation and drive, guess what? BrainTap's going to help you to put a timeline together in your mind that's going to stimulate and motivate and keep you moving so you finish up that degree and you start helping people because there are people out there waiting for you to get your degree, waiting for you to get that specialized knowledge that they're going to learn and transform their lives. So Quantum's job is to educate you. BrainTap's job is to motivate you. So use your BrainTap. Once a day is good, twice a day is better, and 3 times a day is excellent. Let's look again at the BrainTap headset. So it's got an easy slider right here that slides, and you can use that slider to adjust the light frame. It's easy to clean. I'm going to show you the cleaner that we use. It's got red light therapy. It's got a volume control right on it. And below the volume control is actually a Bluetooth setting. And I'm going to show you a video of how to activate your Bluetooth if you choose to use it. If you don't like Bluetooth, or you think there's a problem with it, although I can tell you with EMF, our headset has 0 EMFs. It doesn't have anything. In fact, blue light actually cancels out EMF. So while you're wearing the BrainTap headset, you're more protected. So you don't have to worry about that. Let's talk about unboxing your BrainTap headset and what's involved with that.
Hi, this is Audrey from BrainTap Technologies, and today I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about our new and improved BrainTap headset with wireless capability. Let's get started. Upon opening, you'll notice you have a BrainTap user manual and instructions for easy Bluetooth pairing. You'll also receive a micro USB charging cord and charging cube. These are used together to charge your BrainTap's onboard rechargeable battery. When looking at your BrainTap headset, the charging port is located on the bottom right earphone. There is also a battery indicator light located on the bottom right earphone. This light will turn yellow when you have 20% battery left. It will turn red when charging and green when your headset is fully charged. It takes about 2 hours to fully charge and will hold a charge for about 18 to 20 sessions. The BrainTap's easy-to-use control panel is located on the back right earphone. To turn on your BrainTap headset, slide down the on and off button. The lights in the ears will turn on right away. The visor lights will not turn on until you start playing a session. When playing a session, be sure that your Bluetooth is paired or your auxiliary cord is plugged in all the way. The light intensity button will cycle through 5 different light settings, 1 being the lowest amount of light and 5 being the brightest. It will start out at a 1. To adjust this, just push in. We recommend you start at a 2 or a 3. However, light intensity is personal preference. Just be sure to see blue light through closed eyes. There is a volume up button and a volume down button located on the back control panel. It's best to keep your volume just above 30%, then adjust the headset accordingly. The BrainTap headset is now Bluetooth, so you can listen wireless. To pair Bluetooth, simply hold the Bluetooth button down, go into your mobile device's settings, and connect. For more information on Bluetooth pairing, go to our Bluetooth pairing video and learn how to connect your device. However, your BrainTap headset still comes with an auxiliary cord for hardwired use. If you want to use your auxiliary cord, simply plug it into your device's headphone jack and play a session. We hope this video helps, and if you have any other questions or concerns, please contact our help desk number listed on the back of your user manual. Thanks for watching.
So now let's watch the video on Bluetooth headset, how to pair that.
Hello, this is Audrey from BrainTap Technologies, and today I'm going to show you how to pair your new Bluetooth BrainTap headset. First things first, turn on your BrainTap headset. The visor lights will not turn on until your Bluetooth is paired and you are playing a session. Press and hold down the Bluetooth button until the button starts flashing blue. Then just release the button and set the headset aside. With most mobile devices, you can access the Bluetooth pairing in the settings section. Once there, turn the Bluetooth on. Look for your headset under the name BrainTap. If prompted for a passcode, type in 0000, 4 zeros. Once paired, you can enjoy listening wireless. We hope this video helps, and if you have any other questions or concerns, please contact our help desk number located on the back of your user manual. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Audrey. Now let's talk about brainwave entrainment a little bit. When you think about brainwave entrainment, it's also known as audio-visual stimulation. We use light, sound, and guided relaxation to help you to de-stress your life. People who regularly use brainwave entrainment learn to operate in the best brainwave state. So we call it a full spectrum brainwave. So there's no one brainwave that's better than any other. The brain works best when you have all 5 of the primary brainwaves working together, from gamma to beta to alpha to theta to delta. They all need to be operating because they all do different things. There's not one that's better than any other. When we're using frequency following response, the effect that is created is synchronized light and sound. So the brain syncs to this light and sound. Now, after a few days or weeks of use, what you're going to find is an inner calm, a relaxing feeling, and you might not even notice the lights anymore. One of the things that people report to us, and it happens to us here at BrainTap Labs all the time, is that the brain literally no longer sees the light. That's because they're just out of phase with each other. So it's like the black lines in a film. You don't see those black lines anymore because it's moving at 33 frames per second. So in the process here, when the lights are flashing so quickly, even though the brain's responding, we don't see the light anymore. But you can open your eyes and look at them. The blue light will not hurt your eyes. It's a 470 nanometer light. That's healthy light. It's not the same as the dirty blue that comes from your LCD screens and your smartphones. Now, when we think about the neurosensory algorithms, or what we call NSA, these algorithms are training you. So each session is different. I'm going to encourage you not to just listen to one BrainTap session and then fall in love with it and listen to it over and over again. It's best if at least once a week you change out and listen to another series for that week, or change every time you're listening. There's over 800 sessions available, so you can listen to whatever you want. Now, at Quantum University, they provide you with a series that I've given them, but for 30 days you have access to the whole library. After that, you have special pricing as a Quantum University student. Now, there's also something we call dual voice technique. When you're listening to this, it is intentional. It's not a mistake. These 2 voices are actually doing something. The purpose of this dual voice is threefold. First, you'll notice that the auxiliary voice moves between the right and left hemisphere of the brain. This is going to activate both the right and left hemisphere of the brain. So you hear it in the left ear, you're going to activate the right brain. You hear it in the right ear, it's going to activate the left brain. Pretty soon, the brain just simply lights up and stays awake. We're teaching the brain, almost like physical exercise, we're doing some mental exercises to do that. Second, you're going to find the primary voice is more assertive, while the secondary voice is more passive. This is to activate different areas of the brain. The secondary voice is more NLP in nature. It's going to ask questions of your brain, and then the brain is going to have to try to figure those out. You don't have to listen to either one. Just go with the flow. These 2 voices work together to create a whole brain state and inspire your conscious mind to let go. Some people, and you don't even have to listen to it because this knowledge is not for your conscious mind. So it's advisable to inform your patients or clients of the dual voice so that they don't think there's an issue with the process. So if you're using this in your practice, tell them, hey, you don't have to listen to either voice, just let yourself go. 95% of the people who listen to BrainTap, which we have thousands of people all over the world listening now, they love the dual voice because it gives them that almost out-of-body experience where they feel like they've went away for a mental vacation of weeks when it only lasted 10 to 20 to 30 minutes. Now, what to say to your clients? First of all, the BrainTap is going to help reduce stress, worry, frustration, and irritability while helping you to achieve emotional stability, psychological balance, and mental harmony. It's going to help you to attain the right mindset to achieve your goals here at the clinic. It's going to help you to access deeper meditative states without years of discipline or practice. It's going to help enhance your concentration, memory, and recall. It's going to help increase mental clarity of thought and develop your intuition. It's going to help you to enhance sleep so you can awaken refreshed, rejuvenated, and energized. Now, when you're thinking about these things in using them with clients, you're going to have to have a way to clean them. We recommend you use something called Smart Shield, which you can get right on the BrainTap website. And it wipes down the equipment after each use. When this dries, basically, it's going to dry to be just like table salt. So there's no damage to the equipment. And it has a 90-day, adheres to the surface. So you don't even have, it even clears away anything. They use it in operating rooms and hospitals. So you really can't go wrong using the Smart Shield technology because it puts a coating on the equipment. So, go with that. Now, if you use something like alcohol, you might damage the earphones. So it's really important that you find something that they use in hospitals that clean it. Now, if it's just for your own personal use, you don't have to worry about it. You clean it the same way you would clean your own earphones. But if you're using it with clients, we do strongly recommend you have a way to clean it. Now, this is an office that we have in Kansas City. What they did is they set up a training. This doctor actually has a center he calls a Stress Recovery Treatment Center. This is one of his rooms, and this is his other room. And you can see it says SRT up here. This Stress Recovery Treatment Center, he actually has his clients coming in, paying $150 a month. He has 2,000 members. So if you do the math, 2,000 members paying $150 a month, he's actually making $2 million just running a BrainTap office. So there is a potential. People are stressed out there. They need help, and we're counting on you to help us to help that community that's out there right now in the BrainTap world to de-stress, start using more and more of their brain's potential. Now, you might be wondering, as a student, what would you charge? Or when you go into practice, what would you charge? First of all, some people charge per session. Most of our spas out there will charge $1 a minute. So that means $20 a session in most cases. But most will do a package pricing. Maybe they'll sell a $200 program for 10 sessions. Or we have some doctors in New York that charge $150 a session. They charge $1,000 for the package. What we recommend most importantly is you include this into a program. So what is your specialty? What do you do? What did you go to school for? Then you figure out how to put that together. Now, once you're ready, remember, your licensing fee is waived as a Quantum University student. We will put one of our business growth advisors with you at no cost to you and coach you in how to implement this in your practice. All you need to do is call us here at BrainTap. We'll set up a time to talk to you and we'll coach you, because we know if we coach you correctly, you're going to change your place in the world and you're going to start helping people. And that's our goal, is to help people out there in the world. So we also have the classroom model. When you're ready to, we have designed 26 nutrition classes for all of our licensees, which you have access to. We have the PowerPoints, teacher's notes, and patient's notes. You get to download those and personalize them for your own business. So we recommend that you teach nutrition. We recommend that you teach thought processes. And then whatever your therapy is, whatever you're doing, whatever your magical sauce is, that you add that in. And we can help you to put together a program that not only helps your community, but helps you to make the type of living that you deserve. Now, there's 9 core concepts that go into the brain tapping system. And this is all outlined in my course, the hypnosis course that's part of Quantum University. So we're going to teach these things as you go through it. But the nice thing is, with the brain tapping system, your patients don't even need to know this. Every one of the series has a different technique. Remember, we're not teaching them what to think. We're teaching people how to think. All you have to do is get the headset on them, get them using it, and they will personally start to change their life from the inside out, because every person knows inherently what they need to change and how to change it. They just let stress get in the way of that. So we want to help them get the stress out of the way and start changing their life. Now, what you can do is you can go down here, the quantumsuperlearningadvantage.com. When you log in there, that tells us that you're with Quantum University. That means you get 30 days free. And if you choose for 99 cents, I'm going to encourage you, pay the 99 cents. And you get 45 days on the app for free. Plus, you get a copy of my Thrive and Overdrive book free. So I'm going to encourage you to go there after watching this video, click quantumsuperlearning.com, go there, purchase the 99 cents, and then when you're ready, contact us and we will automatically enroll you in our licensing program. You won't have to pay the $4,000 or more for the licensing. You can simply start buying equipment at the wholesale price, and you can make money doing that. And we'll walk you through how to do that. So that's our course for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to helping you, help your community, and help us change the world one client at a time. I know that's the mission of Quantum University. That's the mission of us here at BrainTap, and that's why I'm involved with Quantum University, and I want to help you. So please pick up the phone, call us, let us know how we can help you get started on your brain tapping journey, and use the Quantum Super Learning Advantage to de-stress, get through your training so I can meet you there in Hawaii at our event when you get your diploma, and I can congratulate you and you can tell me how your brain tap journey went. So good luck, aloha, look forward to seeing you. Bye.